Morning again, and welcome to the fourth hour. Really nice to have you along. I appreciate it. Forgive me. I've been running late this morning, running a little bit behind, not as well prepared as I would prefer to be. That's one of the issues that happens with this show, but I like the timing. It's perfect. Opens up the rest of my day for me to take care of other things. So thank you. Sorry to be in a bit of a rush this morning, but there is some fresh news that I want to share with you this morning. Let's start um, over at Fox News. Dallas police have begun hosting a series of outreach meetings to inform immigrant communities that the agency is not going to take part in any deportation raids or arrests that the Trump administration. How can local officials say? Uh, I'm not certain what are they saying. So they're trying to calm fears that deportation officials. Okay, we all know they're coming in. Okay, what are they going to do? Dallas Police Department says they're not assisting any federal agency on detaining people that are either documented or undocumented. And again, how is that supposed to make folks feel better? I'm not certain that I totally understand this. Dallas police are not the first to do this. You've seen this in other cities as well. They're going out there and saying, no, this is not us. It's the federal government. We're not a part of this. We're not doing this. What are your thoughts? What's your reaction to that? Because I'll be very candid. It pisses me off. I mean, I just don't like it. Law enforcement, right? Isn't that what you're supposed to be about? This is just absolutely crazy. So the chief of police said his department would not turn in or report anyone here illegally who calls 911 for help. Okay, I appreciate that. Or is pulled over for traffic violations. Not sure I agree with that. You're breaking the law. You're in the country illegally. I think if you start your time in America by coming into the country illegally, other laws, are you going to be as diligent about it following them? I don't know. But I know the police are charged with law enforcement. And I know it's not federal law enforcement, but when you know that you've got illegal people that are in the country in droves like this is just crazy. So and this was at church apparently, he reassured the parishioners that no arrests or raids would be conducted in churches, schools, or hospitals. That doesn't mean ICE is not going to be there. And should they be? I think they should be. You're in the country illegally. You've broken the law. So what? You're in a church or you're in a school or you're in a hospital and somehow now you're not supposed to be touched? I don't think any American enjoys that kind of protection. I'm in the hospital. Hey, police, you can't touch me. No American who's born in this country enjoys that kind of protection. And this is what's just so mind-blowing to me. Absolutely crazy. He took to X last night to relay his message that Dallas police would not cooperate with federal immigration officials. I'll put that question to you. Should local law enforcement be cooperating with federal law enforcement? Should they be cooperating? So it's really kind of troubling to see this stuff in a state like Texas. But the reality is that these larger cities, Dallas would be, you get these larger cities and the leftist mentality just invades. I mean, the larger these cities become, and you see it states too, larger the population comes, the more and more liberal they get. And you see it even in Sioux Falls, for instance, versus other communities throughout the state of South Dakota. I think Sioux Falls has got a problem in part because Sioux Falls has problems that other communities in our state don't have, but also because Sioux Falls then starts leaning more and more with some of this stuff. And it's just, you see it happening throughout the country. You see it in major metropolitan communities, whether they're in red or blue states, doesn't matter, unfortunately. That's a big story this morning at foxnews.com. Let's talk, as we're talking about larger cities. This is from the New York Post. And I talked about this morning. Now, Kathy Hochul delaying a visit with Donald Trump following the DOJ lawsuit. It was Pam Bondi yesterday announcing suit then against New York over New York's sanctuary status. And she said this is a new DOJ. Pretty crazy. So what's Kathy Hochul saying? I saw this comment earlier this morning. It kind of made me laugh. Pam Bondi saying New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. I don't know how you argue with that. It's absolutely true. So she filed a lawsuit, and Hochul's office then responded, calling this dramatic. It's a dramatic move. Here are the facts. Our current law allows federal immigration officials to access any DMV database with a judicial warrant. That's a common sense approach that most New Yorkers support. So, first of all, you can't follow the law based on polls. Polls are not the same as law. Do we understand that? Polling and the rule of law are not the same. And polls, yeah. I mean, I can show you polls that show all manner of crazy crap. But this is what the law says, right? I mean, this is the law. That's just common sense, man. That is absolutely common sense. So, yeah, most New Yorkers supporting this. And then went on to say, there's no way I'm letting federal agents or Elon Musk's shadowy Doge operation get unfettered access to the personal data of any New Yorker in the DMV system. Wait a minute. Okay. Any New York, again, they're not citizens. And this is what I was talking about on the air this morning, giving these kinds of rights to people who are not citizens of the United States. And I think Kathy Hochul, you know what? I had an image of, if you're a fan of Ace Ventura, I love the Ace Ventura movies, especially the first one, Pet Detective. You know, at the end where he's in tears, please. I thought that's how we're going to see these Democrat states winding up the federal government. Please don't put us in jail. Don't come after us. Oh, give me a break. This is just too rich. And so then she also apparently delaying her meeting with Donald Trump. She was supposed to meet with Donald Trump and now delaying it. Also, a House panel, the House Foreign Affairs Committee, was meeting this morning on USAID. And I watched just a few moments of this near the end of the hearing this morning. So the House Foreign Affairs Committee is where the hearing was, looking into USAID. Let's see what happened. Representative Brian Mast chairs the committee, gave a thumbs up to placing USAID under the Secretary of State's purview, and saying after receiving formal consultation about the State Department's reorganization, He said, I'm excited to work with President Trump and Secretary Rubio to fix our broken foreign assistance program. Be interesting to see what other news comes out of that. That was this morning. By the way, we're also supposed to have final Senate hearings today on Kash Patel and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. too. They are supposed to today get the final hearings and votes being taken on their nominations. And I visited with South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds this morning, and we talked about this. And I said, I mean, is it correct in thinking, okay, Democrats have been doing all of this, doing all of these moves. They've slowed the process down, but they haven't been able to stop it. And Senator Rounds said, yeah, that's exactly right. And then he talked about it in more detail. If you missed the interview this morning with Senator Rounds, excuse me, if you missed that interview, you'll be able to find it today in my podcast at kello.com. And I want to remind you, our podcasts now are back up and running. So if you don't hear the entire show, you want to listen again later at your convenience, you can do so. Our podcasts are back up and running thanks to Rose, and she's doing a remarkable job on that. I appreciate it. And in fact, well, that's more of a thought to myself rather than you. I'll leave that there. But please check out the podcast. This from Straight Arrow News this morning. Hamas announcing early this morning that they will release the Israeli hostages coming up this Saturday. They have been, and I thought, yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, because they're talking tough. Well, we're not going to release the hostages. And Donald Trump really heated up the conversation over this and saying, pretty much they better release the hostages or else. And he's gotten frustrated with how the release has just been piecemeal, 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 there, rather than just releasing them all. But Hamas now saying they will release the Israeli hostages as planned on Saturday. I don't know how many will be included in that, but they will release them. And I think the big story this morning, and we talked about it on the air about in just a few moments ago, DOJ suing New York, as well as Governor Hochul and AG Letitia James over the sanctuary policies. And Democrats just don't want to play ball. I think, okay, then you're going to wind up, DOJ is going to be coming after you. There's a new sheriff in town. Donald Trump has been slowed down to a certain degree with a lot of these, rulings. And President Trump, I've got to say, I admire Trump for this. President Trump has said, we're going to abide by the court rulings, and we're going to appeal it. We'll go to a higher court, and we'll see if we can get it overturned. But he has promised to abide by the court rulings. And Carolyn Levitt, who is the White House press secretary, said yesterday that, and Elon Musk is similarly, they think that a lot of these judges and what they're doing, Elon Musk is saying they need to be impeached. I mean, he's talking about impeachment, and you can find those stories are out there. Straight Arrow News, I think, had some of those stories about Elon Musk, as well as elsewhere. But I think that's something that's very much resonating with me. We talk about draining the swamp, right? Well, part of the swamp, I'm sorry to say, is some in the judiciary. You've got a number of people in the judiciary who are functioning like the swamp, the same nonsense that we have seen. And so I just think this is such, drain the swamp sounds great. This is an effort that's going to have to outlast Donald Trump. In other words, Donald Trump's got 4 years, and no criticism of Trump here. He has hit the ground running. He is going full tilt at full speed, trying to do everything that he can. Then he is done the end of his term, and Trump also is older. I would think at some point the guy is going to have to slow down. I mean, I feel I'm younger than Trump, and man, I'm slowing down. I mean, in terms of what I'm doing. So at some point, I just think he's got to slow down. But this effort, this momentum, I think, drain the swamp, judicial reform, these things, Americans, if we're serious about taking the country back from these policies that literally have destroyed our country and led to a lot of the division and just, I mean, nonsense that we see on a daily basis. We've got to stand tall. And I think younger Americans, younger than me, younger Americans have got to be committed to keep this effort going, to be serious about it, and to embrace liberty, and love it the way I think that so many of us do. I'm going to leave it there for today. I want to thank you for joining me. You got to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. I want to thank you especially. And I would give you additional thanks if you hit the like button before you leave. That's always very much appreciated. I'm going to leave it there for today. Hope you'll be back again tomorrow. I hope to see you then. So don't be absent tomorrow. We'll do it again. So long until then, my friend.